Hi, friends. How's it going? How's your day going? I had an amazing day. Oh, I forgot the word. I had an amazing day. And I want to tell you about it. I had lunch today with my friend Natalie, Natalie McHale, if you don't know her. And she is a friend who I met on LinkedIn, and I freaking love it here. Like, just met her on LinkedIn. We've talked a couple of times, exchanged some comments, knew we were friends from like the second we started talking. And we had a really like long, leisurely ladies of leisure kind of lunch today because she was in town and it was amazing. It's great. Anyway, so shout out to Natalie. But I wanted to talk about perfectionism today. And if you didn't get a chance to read the intro to today's live, I wrote you a song. I wrote you a song to the tune of The Sound of Silence. You're welcome. Songwriting is not my profession, but I could be for hire if you need a little jingle written to the tune of something else. I don't write music. I don't even read music. I've never been able to capture that. But yeah, I wrote myself a little song about perfection and decided to share it with you. And I actually was not going to go live tonight. If you've been following along, I've been going live every day. Today is day 20 of 30. And I've been having fun with the challenge. And today I felt like I had like a little cheat code because I went live this morning for Hacking HR, which is an amazing HR organization. If you're in HR and you're not following them, go follow Hacking HR. They do almost daily live streams. And if you are like a member, they're not paying me for this, but if you're a member, you get SHRM credits and maybe HRCI. I think HRCI also. But Enrique, who runs the show, is just amazing. I don't know how he has the energy to do all of the things he does. But anyway, once a month, I moderate a panel for Hacking HR, sometimes twice a month, but usually once a month. And I love moderating the panel because it gives me an opportunity to like be in a virtual room with HR professionals. If you don't know me, HR was my background before I shifted to full-time coaching. And I still occasionally take an HR gig here and there, fractional role. And so I stay in the industry and I really enjoy doing these panels. So this morning went to the panel as usual. And the panelists and the moderator get a spreadsheet with like the whole month's panels outlined. And we get to the panelists get to put questions in, suggested questions for the panel, and then the moderator sort of runs the conversation and chooses questions and sort of the direction we go in. And so this morning, logged in, ready to go, had looked at the questions beforehand and had done like my prep work to think about the flow of the conversation and where we could go and what kinds of questions I had, all of it, did all of the work. Perfect. We're talking about perfectionism. And I had done all of the work and and hey, Sharon, and I had come in this morning and I'm introducing the panel and I say, welcome to Hacking HR's panel today on, and I read the wrong topic out loud. And like 3/4 of the way through reading the topic out loud, realized that was not the topic we were speaking on. So I laughed. My inner perfectionist was furious, but I laughed and I said, nope, that's not what we're doing today. We're doing this instead. And it was about connecting the dots between employee engagement and the business performance and people performance. And so the panelists then come onto the screen after I've introduced the topics. And the first panelist, Meredith, says, you did great, Lauren. And I was laughing about it. And I have a sense of humor about things. And then I'll beat myself up later. So, give me some time and I can really be pretty mean to myself. But I laughed because the old me who had not done the work, and for me, the work has been some therapy, but mostly coaching, mostly working with myself, with a coach on how I treat myself and how perfectionism can interrupt my life and my flow and the way that I do things and the manner in which I live my life. And so, we all laughed and we moved on. And in my brain, I thought, wouldn't it be funny if this had been a panel on perfection? Because, like, what a way to start with the wrong title. I got so flustered in the moment, in the 15-second introduction, that I couldn't remember what I did for a living. So part of the moderator introducing the topic is, welcome to Hacking HR's blah, blah, blah. This is what we're talking about today. I'm Lauren Lefkowitz. I'm an executive coach and fractional CHRO. That's what I wanted to say. And I have 20 years of experience in HR. That was what I wanted to say. And then I started to say CHRO, and I couldn't remember the initials. CHRO, if you don't know what that means, is Chief Human I can't even do it now. Chief Human Resources Officer. I could have said Chief People Officer. I could have said I provide fractional HR services. But no, I had to go with the initials. I couldn't remember them. I was so flustered. And it was 15 seconds. It doesn't matter to anybody else. But I spent half of my morning thinking about how I messed up the title. And I can laugh about it because I've done the work on my perfectionism. A couple of weeks ago, I had a moment where if you're not on my email list, come get on my email list. And you can get on my email list by going to fineisatrap.com and typing in your email address, and you'll get a free Fine as a Trap checklist to see how fine you are. But you can go ahead and sign up for my newsletter. You get a newsletter every other week, and you get an email every Sunday just with stories and relatable content, that kind of thing. I keep it fun and light. But a couple of weeks ago, I was getting ready to send one of my Sunday emails, and I work with an amazing person who helps me with operations. And we work with a finicky system that is a little bit glitchy. And she scheduled the email for me, and it went out at 11 o'clock as planned. But the system didn't accept the schedule for Sunday. And so it scheduled it for 11 o'clock that same day. So I sent out an email inadvertently on a Tuesday that I meant to send out the following Sunday. And my brain was like, what have you done, Lauren? Not what has she done. I had no blame for her. It's all on me. I had no blame for the system. It's all on me. I still don't have blame for anything. Things just happen, right? But I was thinking about that in that moment when it happened, and my inner perfectionist was so loud. And my inner perfectionist said, send an apology email out. Tell everybody you didn't mean to send it on an off day. Tell everybody that there was a glitch in the system. No, take the blame for it. Fall on your sword, right? I had all of these spinning thoughts. And then I thought, there is not a soul out there who's on my email list who remembers that my emails come on Sundays and every other Wednesday. Not a soul. Not even me, if I forgot to pay attention to it. Some Sundays I wake up and I, get my coffee and I do my morning stuff. And then I get online and I'm like, oh, an email from me. I don't pay any attention to it. Once it's out there. And yet my inner perfectionist just wanted me to go and fix it and apologize for it. And instead I took a deep breath and I realized it was not a big deal. And not only was it not a big deal, because it's just not a big deal to send out an email on a Tuesday instead of whatever its intended day was. And we have topics galore to talk about. So, easy peasy to put together another email. And, my audience of hundreds is not going to be freaking out because I sent out an email that day. And not only that, but a friend of mine who has a bunch of followers on Instagram and Facebook caught my email that Tuesday, saw it, liked it so much that she read it out loud on her Facebook and Instagram stories. So what I know logically is that the little mistakes we make, reading the wrong thing out loud, sending an email in the day that you didn't intend to, the mistakes that we make at work, the things we say in a meeting that we wish we hadn't said, the spreadsheet question we're not ready to answer when we get called about it, the employee who comes to us and leaves our office in a fury because we didn't say the right thing or have the right reaction for them or whatever it is. They're all little. Everything that we do is just little moments. And we can't live in our perfection forever. It breaks us. It broke me. If you don't know me, and this is your first time stumbling upon me, I was an 80 to 100 hour a week worker for many years, and I wanted to get everything perfect and everything right. I was caring and compassionate to a fault where I couldn't step away from something until I knew the care that it needed from me, it got. And we can't live like that, because first of all, nothing's going to be perfect. We don't live in perfect worlds. We don't live lives where one day we're going to do all of the things and get every moment exactly right. That's one. Two, if we do, super boring. I would have nothing to talk about tonight. And in fact, I wasn't even going to come live tonight because technically I went live this morning with Hacking HR. But in the spirit of the challenge and in the spirit of me going live every day and the intention of going live every day, I really did want to do it. But my perfectionist was like, you've already done it, and wanted me to be like boring and check the box and say like, I've already gone live today. I don't need to go live twice. Here I am. So I want to talk to you about how I got over my huge ties to perfectionism. The first step of it for me was actually just like having the breakdown into burnout and realizing that I couldn't continue to live like this forever, which, great recognition, great realization. And also, I had no idea how to work on that. And I'm really careful to not say fix, right? Because we are all humans. There are parts of us that are fractured and broken. There are parts of us that are beyond repair, right? Trauma and things like that. And there are parts of us that are workable, and we work around those things, right? I live with chronic illness. There are parts of my body that are beyond repair, and that's what I live with. When I was having lunch today with my friend, we were talking about our health stuff, and I told her, about my chronic health stuff, and I come across with a lot of energy, and I get a lot of energy from other people, and I like to feel good mentally. And so we're out together and we're talking about our stuff, and I tell her I have muscular issues and I have this and I have that, take all kinds of medication, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, but do you feel good now? Like now that all the symptoms are managed and everything is taken care of? And I was like, oh no, I feel terrible most of the time, but I'm happy. And that's what's important. So my first step was realizing that not everything could be perfect. And that if it were, it would actually be totally unexciting, totally boring. And I see I have a comment from Sharon who's viewing on Instagram, so I can't bring it up on this StreamYard screen, but I'll read it. I'm so glad you did go live tonight. Happy accident that I got to hear you. And I'm so glad you got over your perfectionism and are here to do the work you do. Oh, Sharon, thank you. I'm not over my perfectionism. I feel like it's more pliable. So our survival mechanisms, like our baseline protection mechanisms, I think still always exist. It's how we work with them, and it's how we find love for them and accept them. And then what decisions we make after that, for me, that like really make the difference. And so when I started working on my perfectionism, of course, you will not be surprised to hear my initial reaction was, okay, cool. I'm going to fix my perfectionism and make it right, which is like not the answer. That is a perfectionist answer. So instead, I started focusing on what I wanted to be different. And the very first thing I realized was I had no idea. I had no idea what to do. Not a clue, not an inkling of what to do, how to handle it, how to address perfectionism for me. Interestingly, easy peasy for me to do that with other people. Perfectionism, boundaries, all the things I struggled with, I was great at working on with other people. Now that I've done the work myself, I'm even better at it. But you can be good at coaching someone on something and not be good at it yourself. For me, there was an inauthentic sort of like mismatch, right? Because I couldn't live any of the things that I was helping other people live. And that was when I realized I needed a coach. That was when I realized that I wasn't going to get out of my own way by myself because I didn't possess the tools, which for a high achiever is super hard to admit. To say out loud, I don't know how to do this, when not only did I know how to do bunches of things, but I was a founding member of the How Hard Could It Be Club, and I just got things done. You need an interim VP of marketing? I'll do it. You need an interim VP of finance? Sure, I'll take it. Like, I made it all seem like no big deal. I was stressed as could be, but I made it all seem like no big deal. And I figured it all out because, I'm good at that. And so what I realized was I needed somebody who wasn't me, who was also clever, because I fancy myself pretty clever, who could help me see me. And that, my friends, is the benefit of coaching. My friend Derek Mulhern, also great follow if you are looking for people to connect to on LinkedIn. Derek is also a coach, and he posted something this morning about coaching being the ability to sit with yourself, like a thoughtful hour at a time with yourself. And it's a thing we don't give ourselves. It's a thing we don't offer to ourselves. As humans, as grown-ups, we get into some like adult grown-up mode, and we don't think we deserve the time or energy for ourselves with ourselves. And there's so much beauty in just sitting with yourself and being asked questions about yourself, because so much of coaching is not advice. In fact, almost all of coaching is not advice. It's you sitting with yourself, and it's you sitting with someone you trust. Could be me that you sit with, sitting with someone that you trust to ask you the questions that you don't know to ask yourself. You probably have the answers. And if you don't, you get to explore what those answers could be. You get to land on some exercises and some commitments that can help you figure out what those answers could be. And for me, coaching helped me work on my perfectionism, my boundary setting, and ultimately helped me figure out what I wanted to do for the rest of my career, which was not corporate HR anymore. And I knew I didn't love corporate HR anymore. But I didn't know what else I could do. And with my clients, not all of them are looking to change jobs or careers. It's probably about a 50-50 in job change, career change versus I just want to be happier at my current job and I don't know why I'm so unhappy. But what I hear from people is like, I don't have any time. I don't have the energy. I sigh on my way into work every day. Sometimes I cry on my way home from work. I bring all of this angst home to my partner, my family, my dog, I don't even want to snuggle my cat at night because it's, I just want quiet and alone and all of that. And honestly, big sign, if you don't want to be snuggling with your pets at night, except for like fish, it's not a good idea to snuggle with fish. But if you don't want to be snuggling with your pets at night, or if you are dreading seeing your family and they're like a good family, not every relationship's great, but if you're in like a decent relationship and all you can think when you get home is like, I don't want to go in there because work is such a bear, you kind of owe it to yourself to figure out what is going on and how long do you want to live this way. And the cool thing is you get to decide, do you want to live this way forever, or do you want to work on not living this way? And everybody has different stuff, right? For some of it's perfectionism. For some of us, it's workaholism. For some of us, it's inability to delegate. For some of us, it's like a limited energy level or capacity for the day. For some of it's, it's all different. All of our lead-ins are different, but the problem ends up being similar, which is that our careers are hurting us so much. And we have to do something about it if we're going to find joy again, if we're going to find fun again, if we're going to learn to find the balance in the integration between work and home, if we're going to figure out who we want to be and how we want things to be whenever we grow up, no matter how old we are, that we're not expected to just do it by ourselves. We are not alone in this. And we very much center ourselves a lot of the time as alone. When we start talking about this stuff out loud, and when we stop joking like, oh, I'm a perfectionist and blowing it off like it's no big deal, when really I say I'm a perfectionist and then I spend 6 hours doing something that could probably be done in an hour imperfectly, but I want to make it perfect and I'm burning myself out because of it. Like those are the things that we tend to keep behind closed doors. And we think we're the only ones who have these challenges. So that's why I'm doing this live challenge, this 30-day live challenge with my coach, Katie McManus. She's doing it also. And we have we've each chosen our own consequences in the event that we don't go live every day. And that's keeping us motivated. But what really keeps me motivated is that I want to keep talking out loud about how we are as humans, as adults, as people in our 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, who are so deep into the habits we've created that don't support us, into the commitments we've made that don't serve us, and into these lives that we've built that we think like, this is it. And that's where Fine as a Trap comes from, is that we find ourselves more and more saying like, yeah, that's fine. All right. I mean, I guess I'll do that. I guess it's fine. Or it's fine. They're paying me a lot of money. It's fine. I'm an executive. This is what's expected of me. It doesn't have to be fine. You can have what you want. You can have the job and the money and the company. And I know it's not easy right now with job searching. I have clients who are job searching and a lot of them are having a really hard time. But you're allowed to play in the sandbox where you are. You're allowed to figure out how you want things to be today, now, starting right away. And if you want to start doing that, reach out to me, send me a DM, set up a time to chat, and we can talk about what coaching could look like for you. We can talk about what it's like to be an executive or a leader who feels like you're drowning and you feel like you look around and everybody else seems to have it together. They don't. That's the secret. None of us have it together. We're all guessing, but we can guess better. We can support ourselves better if we're not trying to do it alone for the rest of our lives. I'm going to leave you with that for tonight, and I will be back tomorrow. Have a great evening. And if there's a topic you want to hear about, send me a DM or leave it in the comments. Thanks so much. Have a great night.